Grayson. So what have you been doing since we last met?
Well, old boy, I fixed up the Lammy and had to take it for the jolly old MOT down the old garage. Luckily, I think it passed. What?
Welcome back to ShedTune, and I am back in the garage because it's that time of year again where we've got to go and get an MOT. And it got me thinking about what prep will I need to do to get my scooter through the MOT. So I went online to the Gov website and found all of this information. There's absolutely reams of it about bike MOTs, and you can download an MOT checklist. And I thought what I'd do was use the MOT checklist to go over mine before it goes to the MOT later today. Clearly we have a painting professional. When you go online, you can go on to the .gov or DVLA website and it gives you a parts checked in the MOT. The first section they look at is lights. These will be inspected to check their condition, that they work properly, that they're secure, that the headlamps are the correct colour, the rear light indicators, reflectors. Headlamp will also be checked to see if the aim is correct. Okay, well that's basic stuff, so as long as your lights work, you're halfway there. Section 2.2, steering and suspension. These will be inspected to check their condition, that the forks, handlebars, grips, head bearings, swinging arm, shock absorber, damping, etc. are secure and working properly. Section 2.3, wheels and tyres. These will be inspected to check their condition, that they're secure, size and type, correct fitment, tread depth, valve condition. 2.4, frame. This will be inspected to check that it's free from cracks, from damage, from distortion, from corrosion, which is likely to affect the steering or braking. Section 2.5, braking. This will be inspected to check the condition, the operation and performance on the brake roller tester, I guess, and the brake controls themselves. Section 2.6 is the old exhaust system. Never a good one for us scooters. Make sure it's secure and complete and that it's not too noisy. Okay. Section 2.7 is the fuel system. This will be inspected to check for leaks and that the security of its components. No idea what that means. I guess if your carb's falling off, then in a good move. Section 2.8 is seats. These will be inspected to check for the presence of a rider's seat, that any seat is attached securely. Okay. Section 2.9 is wheel alignment, and it says there these will be inspected to check for the correct alignment of front and rear wheels. I guess if it's been in an accident or something and it's not running right, then and they're all straight, then it's going to fail. Section 2.10, only for sidecars. This, when fitted, I'm not seeing that many with sidecars these days, so we'll completely ignore that and move on to the next section. Section 2.11 is the horn. This will be inspected to check that it works properly and is suitable for the vehicle. Yeah, okay, well mine's wide DC, so I've got a battery on my horn because the whole rev it up sounding like a duck noise with a Lambretta horn is never very good. Section 2.12, which is number plate, vehicle identification and frame numbers. It says here these will be inspected to check that they are present and legible. Well, good luck finding them on a Lambretta, especially one that's been in the UK a long time. 2.13, chain, drive and sprockets. Well, that doesn't really apply to Lambrettas because all Vespas come to that because they're well inside the case. 2.14, throttle. This will be inspected to check that it works properly. Well, this is always a bit of a sore area because standard Lambrettas weren't designed to return. Obviously, modern motorcycles are. 2.15, clutch lever. This will be inspected to check that it isn't so bent, damaged or shortened that it can't easily be used. I think what they're looking for is a ball on the end. But again, if it's a classic Lambretta, you won't have that. And last but not least, 2.16 says footrests. Well, I suppose the only thing that really check are the running boards, make sure they're fitted properly. Apart from that, don't really apply. I've printed off the DVLA motorcycle MOT inspection checklist that they have to use, and we're going to go through it bit by bit and make sure that my scooter will pass its MOT first time. Okay, so the first section, as you can see, says sitting on the machine you've got to check the handlebars, brake controls and switches, throttle, clutch lever, head bearings, quite important on scooters, horn, front suspension, which is a bump test, rear suspension, bump test, and the steering. I'm guessing that's just make sure it has steering locks on it. So I'm pretty sure that everything on my end is okay on the headset. I know the brakes work well, all the switches work, speedo works, clutch is fine. It says here head bearings. Well, the head bearings are under here in between the leg shields and the headset, and the easiest way to test them is take it off of its stand, hold the front brake, push it forward with the other hand here and see if there's any movement between the two. If there is, it normally means that these bearings need tightening up. Front suspension, so I've got anti-dive on mine, but if you don't have anti-dive on it, what we know is that these links here are the suspension. And what a lot of the MOT testers on motorbikes don't realise is that when you go to front brake on, of course, this whole unit removes backwards and forwards because it's designed to do that. And sometimes they can fail you on that. Me, I know mine's good. Next section is front of the machine. Front position of the headlamp. Headlamps, indicators, well, there's no indicators fitted on this. Front suspension, front damping, yeah. Brake master cylinder, yeah. Front mudguard. Well, it's got a front mudguard. The brakes are all good. Fluid's good. The BGMs work well, so there shouldn't be an issue there. Next section, it says front wheel raised. Steering, head bearings, front suspension, wheels and bearings, tyre, front brake. Well, mine is. Tyres in good condition. The valve's in good condition. And I know that everything works because I've just checked it, so we should be good on that section as well. Section says offside of machine, frame, seat, footrests, rear suspension, final drive, exhaust, fuel system, tyre, brake. Okay, well, a lot of that doesn't apply to a scooter. I suppose what does apply to a scooter is frame. Well, unless they take the panels off, they ain't going to see that. Seat, you can see there ain't a lot of it, but it's mine. Footrests, running boards, they're solid. Rear suspension under the panel. Final drive, they won't be able to see. Exhaust, well, that might be an error. There's an issue with, because it's not the quietest of exhausts. Bearings, rear tyre, etc. Well, I know my rear tyre's good. I know my back hub bearings are good as well. Next bit on the list is the rear of the machine. Rear position lamp, stop lamp, indicator. Well, no indicators, number plate. So again, my rear lamp is wired to DC, so it's on a battery for the stop light. And the battery's on charge, so I won't test that now, but I know it works. So I suppose you can fall foul of a small number plate if he's a bit picky. But as long as your lights work, I think that's about it for that. Next bit is near side machine, which is exactly the same as the offside. Again, not really a lot to see over that side, is there? So we'll just move on from there. Rear wheel raised. Rear wheel and bearings. So I'm guessing they're chucking for play, and the rear hub bearing. Rear suspension, tyre, rear brake. Well, mine works, I know that, so there shouldn't be an issue with that at all. I suppose the only thing you can have a bit of playing is maybe the end plate that will give you a bit of float on the rear hub. But providing it ain't mad, it should be okay. Next couple of bits, wheel alignment. Well, I know mine's straight, so don't really know how they would check that, but there you go. The brake test, efficiency, so that will go on the rollers for judder, and I suppose if it's dragging, if you've got brake shoes front and back, then that could be an issue. I've got a disc front and shoes on the rear, which the shoes do get a bit sticky sometimes, but I'll just wind it off a bit. Final bit on here for a normal scooter is headlamp aim. They are adjustable, but just under there you can adjust them up and down. I've never done it, to be honest with you, but if we need to, we can. And the only other thing on here is for sidecars, which won't apply to us, but all being well, having looked over my scooter and gone through that, the only thing I can see it failing on is that, the noisy exhaust, because everything else works fine. And if you're not sure, just go through the list and have a look. So the next thing to do is take it down to the MOT and have a look, see if it passes. MOT time then. MOT passed.